Wednesday winners. Let me click the got it there. All right, welcome to Wednesday winners. Today we are going, this is where we get to the nuts and bolts of the industry and kind of focus on something every Wednesday to enhance you guys and enhance your career going forward. This week we're going to talk about tracking and Excel and basic functions of Excel. Now, I don't claim to be a master of Excel. I just like having everything in front of me. I like being able to track my business. I like being able to hold myself accountable. Okay. If I hold myself accountable to my business, then and I follow it and I track it and I set my goals and I see it being achieved on paper, it just gets me more excited. And I hope that it will do that for you guys as well. So I sent everybody over, I compiled everything into one Excel tracking form or file, and I sent it over to everybody on GT Agency. Did everybody get that? So you can open it up and follow along with me.
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. All right. So I'm going to share my page with you and kind of just go over each tab. Then we'll go into functions of Excel and how you guys can utilize that. Some of you may know more than I do, but it's just going to, again, it's just a basic course for people that don't know. Do I have control? Yes, I do. All right. So if everybody opens it up in the first page, the first tab, this is for agency tracking. This is where, and I'll show you guys my, real quick. So right here you have, SF agency, Spear Financial Group agency. So I would list in here the primary agent like Paul Spalla. And then below that would be Claudia. And you can see how Claudia is now moving over to the right-hand side instead of the left-hand side. So that just shows me that she's direct to Paul, okay? And then I would enter in phone, email, license coach. I would check it off. They went through license coach. They're licensed. They're in workplace, going through contracting, agent on leads, and unique writing agent, meaning they went from AOL to UWA. Did they finish contracting, date of hire, and the state that they're from? Okay. Down below in yellow, these are my potentials. So this is where I would have, if I'm having conversations with people and they haven't committed yet, those are my potential agents. What's that? Oh, sorry. Okay, I thought somebody had a question. Okay, now, not active, that means when somebody is just not producing, not engaging, I'm moving them over into a non-active status, but I keep track of them, the name, phone number, and email address, because I'm going to reach out at a later time, maybe 6 months from now, maybe a couple months to 6 months from now. I'll reach out and see if I can get them re-engaged. So I never want to lose their information. I always want to have it. And maybe life situations change. Maybe they want to re-engage. Maybe they got sick and tired of their job and they now want to get back into it. So that's the two main pages of my leadership tracking. Then I have the builders report. This is where we have this is something new that all the leaders are doing. And I created this for anybody that wants to utilize it in the leadership group. And if you do get to the leadership group, you're going to be required to track 25 conversations monthly. And it's just the name, how you spoke to them, whether it's 3-foot rule, warm market downline, warm market, the date you spoke to them, and then are they an agent in licensing, agent in contracting, or are they just in limbo? AOL is agent on leads, which they've moved to. And then I track my business on a weekly basis based upon Aaron's report here. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. My agency, number of UWAs, app count, submitted premium, and then my totals for the month. Personal production. Okay. This is for most of you who are not doing agency building yet. You're doing just your personal production, but at least you'll have everything all together if you decide to grow your business as well. So number of leads taken, number of dials you put in each week, how many people did you contact, how many sets, and how many applications did you write. Then you have, if you're doing live transfers, Live transfers, how many you took and how many you closed. Then your client's name. So every time I close one, it's going to be Tim Smith, Carrier, Foresters, Strong Foundation. Actually, we're not writing Foresters now. Let's just do CVS, CVS FE. The date, 11/8. And how much AP? 2,100. Now, if you see up on top here, I have my goal of 30,000. The goal transfers down to my goal in this middle column on F. When I type in the AP, it's automatically deducting it. So now I have 27,900 left to goal. And as I keep filling in 1,200, 600, all my AP counts, 4,700, you can see that it's taking away and I have 21,400. Then at the bottom, it's going to total up your total AP, and then what your goal, what your dollars to goal is, right? Which is 2,100. So you can see I've written 8,600 so far, and my goal of 30,000, I need $21,000 more. Now in the paid section, this is where you track how much you made. So say 2,100, this case went through, it was approved, I got paid 1,500. Okay, this one I got paid 900. This one I got paid 300. This one I got paid 2,500. Okay, now it's going to total up down the bottom. So you have what you wrote and what your income is. On the next column, I have it as RES for residuals, but this is used for your residuals, your back end money, and your agent overrides. And so you can put in 125, and then the last name, Smith, and Claudia wrote this one. So now it's going to take it 125, bring it down here. So here's my residuals, overrides, back end money, and then it's going to add it to my income, and I'll have my total income down the bottom. There's a couple of different columns there because sometimes when if you have multiple agents, if you have a year in the industry and you're starting to get your back end money, you're going to see a lot coming from different carriers. So it has two different columns there that you can do that. Now, agency production. Okay. This is how I track every single agent's, Paul will report to the upline chat. Okay, so Paul will report to upline chat. I'll put Paul Spalla. The client that he wrote, Tim Smith. The carrier, CVS. The date. The AP count, let's say it was 1,200. All right, now where it says paid, this is where you're going to put your override income from your agent. Okay, and again, this goes with agency building, but here's where we're going to get some formulas into this. Okay, so now I want to transfer and I want to track each individual person on my team, but I have this whole list here. So we have Claudia and Jane Smith. Transamerica, 11,900 and 4,200. Okay. So in order to total up each one, we're going to go to Claudia. We're going to click on the dollar figure here. We're going to click up into the top of the screen where you can enter in the text, and we're going to hit equal sum and then parenthesis. Okay. And then you can use your mouse over here and just hit Control so that you can select multiple tabs. But this one, we're only checking one. So you can still hit Control, click on that. You can see now it's highlighted and just hit Enter. So now it transfers, but we meant to do it on Paul's. But it transfers down to that individual agent. So now if you had Paul writing multiple, right? And then Claudia writing multiple. You go to Paul, you hit, again, equals, sum, parenthesis. Now scroll up and click on hit Control, hold down Control, and hit everyone that Paul wrote. Hit Enter, and it totals it up. Now you go to Claudia, equals sum, parenthesis, not 9, parenthesis, scroll up, and then click on everyone that Claudia wrote. Now, all down the bottom, if you want your totals, you just hit auto sum, which is up at the top here, and you select, hold down your left click button and scroll all the way to the top, from the bottom to the top, and that'll total up everything. Now, on the right side of that, so this is going to track all of your agents, okay, and what they're producing. And then over on the right-hand side of this is where you have, your business that you wrote in January, February. This is how you're going to track what you've done for the year as far as annual premium, or, as far as income, right? Or, annual premium written. So 45,000, 50,000, 30,000. Oops. Okay. Now you can click on the total again, just hit auto sum and just drag it from the bottom to the top, and 125,000. So in those 3 months, if that was a total. So that's kind of tracking, how I track everything from agents to personal production to agency production. When you're building a template, or you're using Excel, the formulas, they can get pretty difficult. It's, when you're trying to transfer one from the other tab, you can do that as well. Just know that, like, if I was trying to add something, I could do equals sum, and then I can switch over to a different tab, and I can grab anything. Oops. You can see it now. I can grab anything from that particular tab, or that other page. So you can see how it'll go equals sum, agency production, and then G21 and G22 of that particular slide. Now you can see it goes 182,000, right? Now, when you are entering stuff in, let's say that it stretches over. I mean, this is just kind of basic knowledge. If it's stretching over into the next tab, you can just split it in the middle here of the two C and D, double click, and it'll open it up. Okay. Yes. See, I knew there was somebody knows more than I do. I can see the comments coming in. Okay.
Oh God.
I mean, everybody knows. A lot of people know more than that, but it's holding yourself accountable and tracking. I'm going to stop sharing. Questions? Diane.
My question was, so when your agents at that bottom right-hand corner, when you're hitting the equal sum and you're taking their different spots, do you do that monthly? Because
Yes.
it's not, you can't have it ongoing. You have to wait till you have them all in there, right?
So I saved, now I would save this template, this workbook. You go up at the top and hit File, Save As, and
Mm-hmm.
then I would save as November of 2023. Then I
All
put
right.
that in a file and I would create a new one. Okay. So let me share my screen again. So we're on the agency production. We have all their information here throughout the whole entire month. So now we hit File, Save As,
Mm-hmm.
Spear Financial Group Workbook Template 2023. And then I would put that into my file already here, which is monthly insurance tracker. Okay. So I would save it into that particular folder, but it still leaves it up here. Okay.
Right.
Now I can take it, highlight everything. So right click, drag down, and then I'm sorry, left click, drag down, and then hit right click and clear contents. Left click, clear all the way over to select the area, and then right click, clear contents, and make sure everything's back to 0. And then I would hit File, Save As, and I'll change it from November to December, and I'll start over. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
I just want to take a moment real quick, Mark.
Shoot.
Yeah, so first of all, Mark's already created this for you guys. So everybody give him a round of applause that you get to use that and you don't have to do all those functions in case you need to fix something. But appreciate you, Mark. I use the same setup that you put in Excel. I use it. It works the same in Google Sheets. You just have to import it from Excel to Google Sheets and it'll work the exact same way. So just wanted to say thank you, Mark.
Yeah, no problem. And you'll see that the formulas, what I just sent over to you, the formulas are automatically going to add anyway for you, like Lake was just saying. But if you end up backing it out by mistake, at least you kind of know how it works.
Mark, what's the importance or your thought process on the importance of tracking? Why do we need this?
I mean, 100%. You have to track your business, otherwise you're stuck. I mean, I use it I mean, let's see. I know I don't want to share too much information, but I'm gonna bring up I'll bring up my November. Maybe you know what, I'll clear it out. Give me a second. Okay. And share screen. Okay. So you can see that I've already tracked my business so far for November, right? And over here, I'm going to be able to tell which ones I was paid on, issue paid on, which ones I haven't. Yes, Daniel, keep pay attention to that right there. Just kidding. So I keep track on the ones that I got paid on, ones that are still in issue, they need to be issued, and that way I can continue to track it and call up the carriers, find out what's going on, what do I need to do in order to get paid, and then once I get paid for it, I log it in, and it's going to track down here how much I got paid. Residuals over here, I get to see like this one here, negative 205.94. Last name was Sweet, and that was Claudia. So now I call up Claudia and I say, okay, listen, are you on top of this client? We just got a hit back on this one. What do you got going on? So it allows you to manage yourself, but as well as your agency, because you get to see where
Sometimes it's
at.
like I catch him in these days where he's like, I'm totally professional and I'm not going to talk about anything. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Be sure that you're muted, guys.
All right. So, and I mean, if you don't track your business, you're going to get lost and you're not going to know what you're making, what's coming in, what's going out. So it's for me every day. Like Aaron calls, Wednesdays as your administration day. And for me, it's every day. I go through and I check my tracker every day. I have all on this side of my desk, I have all the applications that I've written, and over on this side of the desk is when they're complete. So they transition from that side into that side, but I have to check it off through my tracker in order to do that. Danielle, go ahead.
Well, you just answered my question. So basically, just to not overwhelm everybody with just starting to track, when I understand with you making a sale, it's so easy to post the numbers in the Excel, but do you just every time for an agent that the AP comes through in your upline chat that you track it that way? Or do you have a Wednesday morning where it's like, okay, I'm going to go back into all of the chats and throw that up there and track it? Like, how do you track it?
Nightly. So
Nightly, okay.
at the end of the night, when Aaron posts up the the what everybody did for the day,
Blast, yeah.
the agency totals, then I'll pay attention to that. It's kind of my reminder. So Aaron's already given us an alarm, okay, in our head. 9:30, he posts that up. Okay, time for me to sit down, go through the day, and I check all my agency upline chats, and I'll go through and add everything in. Now, if it comes in later than that, well, then I hit it in the morning.
Nice. Okay.
Because that's what he's going to end up doing, is posting it the next day anyway. So that's how I track it. Jonathan.
Hey, Mark, I don't think I've ever heard you call me that.
You know why? Because I was just JP. I apologize. I was
No, I'm a good man.
Read the screen.
You're good. Hey, thanks again for doing this. And one of the things that I've struggled with is actually finding. Well, let me put it this way: are you going to every carrier every night, checking it? You're saying you're tracking who's been what's issue paid, and so I'm trying to find out how you do that. And I think that's my main question. How are you finding, because we write for so many different carriers, how that works.
So when you go into the agency production and I have, like the date, you can see here, this kind of gives you, I'll just back that out. Okay. So it gives you, like, Claudia so far has written 3 this month. I've written a bunch this month. So now I highlight myself in green, because I'm not going to put that over here as far as agency tracking, right? I'm not going to put that there. I just want to know what my override income is. So if I see he wrote this, Claudia wrote this on 11/1, it's now 11/8. It's time for me to go back and check that out. And so now I go into CVS and I'm going to check my reports. Each carrier has a reporting system. It's just a matter of communicating with your upline to find out where that particular report is located.
Right. So you are going into every carrier then?
Every carrier, and I run my reports. So when I run the report, I get to see my whole agency downline and what what they've paid out, if there's anybody that was pending lapse, whether they're issue paid or charged back. And then I'll record everything here. Now, also on the personal production side of it, when I'm tracking the residuals, override income, and things like that, you can see I got 205 suite, 202 minus Gallimore. That was for me. And I called Cheryl Gallimore up today, and she's making her payment. And that's because she switched banking information. So when you see a hit like that, it's because what Forrester's does is they'll send you a notice saying your client missed a payment. Oops, you already charged back. You know what I mean? There's no grace period. If they miss the payment, Forrester's automatically charges you back, and now you got to go recoup it. So now that I know I've tracked this already, and this was just today, and now I called up the client. she's making the payment, she's switching the banking information, and I'm going to track it in the next couple of days to make sure that it gets paid. But then I'll leave that negative 202 there, and I'll put 202.81 back in to offset it. Okay. And that'll total it up. So right now I have negative 202, but when I add the 202 back in, let's just do 202, it adds it down the bottom and then adds it to my total income.
Hey, Mark,
Yes, sir.
can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see.
Do I have to make you host?
I'm still a host.
Oh, okay.
So with my business tracker, it's the same exact thing as Mark's. I'm going to start using his because this is my team total AP. So Mark, thank you for that. But a great way for me to check on my deals, instead of shuffling through all of my paperwork from deals from people and try to find it there, I can see pending requirements, decline, canceled, issue paid. So, and I've color coded it as well so that I know exactly what's needed for that. And then I can go in. I think there's a way you can add notes in there as well, which I've started doing on this month, but you can add notes in there. So you can click on there and it'll bring up a note. Hey, this person needs this for requirement. It's a great way and easy way to keep track of that, but I just wanted to share that note.
Yeah, and there's on Instagram there is a Excel website. Okay, so if you're looking just to learn about it, it's a great tool. They have multiple videos on how to do multiple different things. So I utilize that. I have a basic knowledge of it, but that's teaching me a lot of stuff as well.
You got to work it into your system after every single sale. Just that's part of the end of the sale.
Yeah, it's the discipline behind it. Because if you miss it, and I've done it. I've done it where I was just busy. I had a week go by, and I felt lost at the end of that week because I hadn't tracked my business. And now I got to go back through a week's worth of stuff between myself and all my agents, and it was time consuming. If you do this at the end of the day, this is your non-income producing, time. It's your dial sessions are over, your meetings are over. Sit down, track your business, and then go to sleep. It's done, right? Next day you wake up ready to go. So you just got to make sure that you're tracking it. Kim, go ahead.
So as far as like checking your back end, I'm pretty good about following things through, see if there's pending requirements and everything, and watching for it to get paid. But back end, how are you tracking that? Because when you'll get an email, that you have a direct deposit, but it doesn't tell you, of course, who it's for.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
So if you go just on Forrester, so again, you're gonna have to get with your upline. I don't have time to go through every single carrier, but just Forrester's, you click on My Biz, you go to Contracts, Compensation, and Debt. When this loads, up on the top, you have more disbursement detail. Now you put in a date range.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows you what you've been paid, right? Now you click on the detail. Wait till this fills in before you click anything. It takes a few seconds or so, maybe a minute before it fills in. Once it populates, okay, so once it populates, you'll be able to click on the comp details. in the comp details, okay, it'll have the person's name, what was paid, the next person's name. It'll list every single person line item by line item. What was paid, what was charged back, so forth and so on. And then you can search. Now, if you're looking at, it just says the person's name, Tim Smith, and you're like, who's Tim Smith? Well, you can go to your agency threads and or workplace, and you can search that client's name. I'll give you an instance. Give me 1 second. I'll share my screen again. You can type in the search, and it's going to show here if it had, if it was somebody else, like on my agency, Paul Spalla, it would show up in his thread. So now I click on that, and it shows Shannon Gallimore, Foresters, Mutual of Omaha Accidental. So I know it was me. But if it was Paul, it's going to show up as Paul. Now I can call Paul and say, hey, Paul, I was just looking at the reports and we got a hit on Tim Smith. Are you aware of that? That's what it's so key to transition.
Yo, Lord, may help you.
Like,
So it's so cool to be able to transition your tracking from the carriers into workplace. If your agency is doing the right thing, if your downline is reporting everything like we're supposed to, you're going to have a complete record. I can go back and search workplace for anything and everything when it comes to my agency. If I miss a day, I constantly call Aaron, and he'll tell me, hey, you're at this, and I'll say, no, I'm at this, and he goes, oh, I missed one. Because I track it every day, and he's got a couple of hundred agents to track, so there are going to be mistakes. That's why you have to keep on top of it. You got to know where you're at. You got to know where your agency is at. I mean, how are you going to run a business effectively if you don't? You're just gonna write business, let your agents write business, and let's throw a party. You can't do that. You gotta track it. Go ahead, Lake.
Mark, how does tracking your business, going back to what Aaron said, how does tracking your business help you become a better producer?
Discipline. If you can stay disciplined to tracking your business, you can stay disciplined to your schedule, you can stay disciplined to your production, to your dials, to your sets, to your meetings, to meetings. It just gets you in a flow, and I feel on top of the world when I'm writing business. My agency's writing business. I'm tracking it, and I'm hiring, and I'm doing following the system. Like right now, Aaron, I'll tell you, we just had the conversation today. Man, do I feel good. Here's a story. I went out to take I scheduled it in. I tracked my business morning. I went through all my pendings and all my people who were pending, lapse status, and I fixed everything. And then I knew I was doing Wednesday winners, so I hadn't really booked anything for today. I did a dial session. I booked a couple for tomorrow, and then I wanted to take a ride in the motorcycle. So I jumped on the motorcycle and I went to lunch. And I went to lunch with a purpose. I went to lunch to find myself a smart individual and show them the plan. And I did just that. And now I got into licensing. You feel good when you're tracking. You feel on top of the world when you're writing. You feel on top of the world when you're issuing business, when your agency's issuing business, and you continue to show the opportunity to other people. I can't express. You can see how excited I'm at a loss for words because I'm so excited about it. I mean, Aaron and I were just talking about that today. It's an amazing feeling.
Yeah. The other way that it helps you with your business as well is that you shouldn't just be tracking your business that you do. You should be tracking your dials, your leads, and what you spend on those, because that's the data that's going to make you a better producer. If you do 150 dials and you only set 3 appointments and you're looking at the last 5 weeks, well, every time I do 150 dials, I'm only setting 3 appointments. So what am I doing to improve? Then you go back and look at exactly the data that you have, and then you can scale up and bring that to 5, 6, 7 appointments per 100 dials and increase your skill and your efficiency. If you put like Zach Rudebeck does this, he'll have an Excel sheet or a note that he puts every time he dials, and then he'll have a note, I'm all set, hung up, right? And he'll put the date on there as well. So then he can go back and realize, okay, so I have this many I'm all sets, this many I'm think about it, or whatever the objection is. And then he'll be able, okay, so now I look at that when he sends it to me. Now I know he's got a problem with this objection. So what do I do as a leader? Now I know exactly what he needs. He knows exactly what he needs. Maybe I didn't even see it, right? He can come to me and say, hey, look at all my dials. Look at the issues that I'm having. Perfect. I can laser in and help him and skill him up just like that. That's a real thing.
Yeah, it helps you find, like, if you see it stuck in limbo, if you see that one of your agents, it hasn't gone through. Why? Because they're not following up, right? Now you can see it. If you're tracking your business effectively, you can teach your agents to track their business effectively, because you're waiting to get the override and you're waiting for that to go issue paid. Well, guess what? As an agency builder, I get to go in and check their business, and I can see that there's a requirement on it. I can call up the agent. Hey, what are you doing with this one? It's been 9 days and they have a requirement that hasn't been answered yet. Oh yeah, I'm going to do that today. It's all about getting paid, right? I mean, if you're not tracking it, how are you going to know what you're getting paid and what you're not getting paid?
That's the game.
And also making sure they're getting protected, really, right? And yeah.
For everyone just starting out, Mark's giving y'all nuggets, man. Mark is throwing it down. He consistently writes over 20,000 a month. Consistently. I don't know when the last time was that he hasn't written 20,000, truthfully. Take this to heart. I learned this back in 2011 because I read a book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And it said, what you focus on expands, what you track grows. So I started tracking everything within my business. I've been tracking my business since 2011, thousands of agents. I've got every policy, every issue paid, every agent. And I've got it in my computer still. Well, I take that back. Van Barnett sent me a virus in 2016 and eliminated like a couple years. But after that, good. And Jason, I had to learn how to like go into the back end of my computer, eliminate the virus myself through YouTube. Did it.
But you still lost everything.
Yeah, I did, man. There was no getting it back. I didn't have the key.
No, but I mean, Aaron, what's pretty cool is that, I came into this and I put my own tracker together, and then you've adapted it into the company. And it's and that's another good feeling. I mean, it's pretty cool. And a lot of people, when you're able to contribute like that to everybody's success, that's an amazing feeling in itself. And I hope that this helps you guys out. I hope that it can take your business to the next level. I hope that it helps you stay disciplined to your business, and that you guys just continue to grow and crush. Somebody,
hey, Mark Spears.
Somebody come take this.
Hey, Mark Spears.
Yes.
Hey, this Daron. How you doing?
Good. And yourself?
Pretty good. Hey, on that spreadsheet, you have it set as a template.
Yeah. So you can save it as whatever you want. That's just a template. You can fill it in, and you just, again, you hit save as November, save as December. Every time you save it, it'll save a new Excel. So create a different file on your desktop and label it insurance tracking or your business name. And then you can save November to that file, December to that file, January, February, so forth and so on. That way, whenever you want to go back, you can just go right back to that individual file for that month. So it allows me to compare, and this is something that I learned just in the telecom business, or retail for that matter, is that retail is always comparing same month last year, right? They're always comparing same month last year. How did you fare against the same month last year, especially in the times that we're in? I find that, with what Art said, just get 10% better, 10% better every year, right? And I do just that. So by tracking, it allows me to say, next year, I know I did this. I want to do this. And that just gets me 10% better every month.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yep.
You can do tabs at the very bottom for each month. If some people didn't want to create a new one each month, you can actually go in, you can create the tabs at the very bottom, like January, February, March, and continue to go down through. Want to create a new one for, each month, they could just do it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. You can just copy and paste the whole thing. I mean, let me share my screen with you. I'll show you guys what she's talking about. I just do it. I have a particular way of doing it. You guys can, ultimately do what you want to do. But share screen. Oh, not that one. So if you're looking at your agent personal production, you can click right up on the top left hand right next to A and above number 1. Click on that. That highlights the whole thing. And then right click and copy. You can create a new tab just by hitting there, and then right click and paste. And then you can rename December. Then you can do it again. Paste. Right click, rename January. Okay. So you can do it all on one Excel if you want. I just have a different, because I like to be able to compare month to month. I have 2 screens, so I pop them up. It's just what's your preference?
Good stuff, Mark.
All right. Any other questions?
All right, they're tracking. They're ready.
Let's go. Everybody tracking? That's what Aaron says at the end of every call. You all tracking?
I'm not good at tracking. I so appreciate this. I needed this big time.
Yeah,
Get good at tracking, Diane. Start saying it. You are good. And like Mark said, it's just about discipline.
I'm going to be great.
I had to create a system. Success is about systems. And my system has worked for me for 13 years. When y'all send in your report, and I'm in like over 100 upline threads, and everybody's sending in their reports, I copy it, I paste it to an email, and I email myself every day. So all day long, I'm sending myself emails of everybody's tracked business. And then every morning, 7:30 to about 8:15, I take all those emails and I throw them into my tracker, tag them off. And then I go into each carrier commission statement, track all the income, and then pull everybody's issue paid line item off and track everybody's issue paid numbers, which is how I've got all your issue paid.
Yeah, Claudia said it best. You have to be a slave to your schedule, right? You have to be disciplined to your schedule. What Claudia does is kind of what I mean. The student becomes the teacher, right? And I took that from her, where now I am in my calendar. It is just every day, every minute, every 15-minute intervals. It's what I'm going to be doing, and I just stick to that. It goes from getting up in the morning to ending the day.
Yep.
But you gotta hold, as you're an entrepreneur, people. You're in business for yourself. You're not doing it by yourself. That's why we're all here.
So who's excited?
Let's go.
Excited.
Excited.
I'm excited.
Here's what I'm hoping for. We've got 42 people. We had over 50 people on this call. I'm looking to change the culture of who we are, what we do, how we do it, and how we think about it. We need to move in a mindset of abundance rather than, pushing 50 dials a day. It should be, how many dials are you going to make today to get to 5 appointments a day? That's the way you should be thinking. Who's going to start busting? Mark just called y'all out. Who's going to take that belt from him? You're staring at it, sitting behind him. He's the number 1 producer on this team, and he's spanking all of you. He's just out working. He's spanking everyone, outworking everyone month over month. Who's going to get angry enough, emotionally enough to step up and just put in the work? That's what it boils down to. I'm looking to change the culture of all the new agents coming in here that want more for their families, for their quality of life. Right? Some people have a mindset of, well, I just want to work real hard so I could take as much time off as possible. Bro, that's for the birds. That's for the birds. We come in here and we take everything we got. That's the way y'all should be thinking. Come in here and give it everything you got. Okay, I'm dialing till 10 p.m. at night. So go get it. Y'all should have the mindset of dial until whatever your goal of sets per day is. If you're part-time, 2 to 3 sets per day. Go for it. If you're full-time, y'all should be attacking 5 sets a day, 30 sets a week. Anything less, and y'all thinking right. You're not thinking right. Don't get distracted by the small stuff. Y'all go after the big stuff.
We just talked about this, Aaron, on the team meeting that we just had before this. My team, we got together, and I was referencing Art's post about the 28-year-old girl who was doing $1 million+ a year and just became an integrity partner. That's a 28-year-old running circles around this 50-year-old. So when he says that I'm running circles around most of you, this girl just ran circles around everybody and became an integrity partner within 2 years. I mean, that just changed my fixation and my goal of what I want for my family. Okay, I'll tell you that right now.
It takes 80 agents to make 7 figures in this bid. I didn't say 800. I said 80. 80 agents writing to make 7 figures. We got 50 on here right now. I had 50. That's not counting outside of Blaze. Right? Y'all go get what you want. Go tell people to tell people to tell people to tell people about what we're doing and watch your world explode. I'm looking for the next DM, RM, VP, SVP, and we're moving up with intent. Y'all be intentful about your business and get excited about your business. Y'all have the chance every morning to go make thousands of dollars a day if you want to and you choose to. Wake up and choose it.
Hey,
Leave it to you, Mark.
don't be hanging up yet. I just clicked on your link, Mark, in the agency, and it's saying invalid URL.
No URL, it's an Excel file.
I know, but I'm just trying to tell you, I'm trying to get it. And that's the issue I'm having.
I got it. I downloaded it.
He posted it in the Gooderman chat.
I'm in GT agency.
Yeah.
Down to the bottom.
Hold on, how do you access it?
So on the Gooderman agency thread on Workplace, it is posted up there. I'll throw it up there again.
Got it. I got it.
The Gooderman agency.
Yeah, Aaron's
GT
chat room.
agency chat. That's the main chat everybody uses.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Appreciate you, Mark.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Great job, Mark.
Thank you,
Mark.
Mark.
Thanks for helping me learn more so I can take that belt from you.
Thanks, buddy.